Hello, ladies and genitals. Gentlemen, actually. We're going to talk about now, are narcissists born that way? Now, from what I've read, many experts say 90% of narcissists are created, and the other 10% who aren't narcissists, they are psychopaths. Now, being a psychopath, I'm sure we already are aware of this. That's something that is inherited. That's an inherited disorder. Most narcissists have learned this behavior from their environment. They are dissatisfied and unfulfilled with their lives. They never got to be as successful as they wanted to be in their careers, their relationships, or in their public image. They want to treat you the way, this is the sad part that angers me when I think about these narcissists. They just want to treat you the way that they feel they've been treated their entire lives. And I know that's true because I remember my ex-narc, how jealous he was of my son. My son left home when he was 33. He loved his home. He loved his mom. He loved the environment here. You know? He was, and trust me, he wasn't one to sit around playing video games. My son has his master's degree in social work, psychology, human mental health. My son was working two jobs and going to school. He paid his rent here, his cell phone bill. He contributed to the food along with the cable. He wasn't one to just sit around here lounging like being a lounge lizard, you know? But, like the Bible says, a man will leave his mother and his father to stick to his wife, and they will become one. That's the real reason for a man to leave home. Why should he leave otherwise to go into a place where he's just going to be lonely and get into trouble, especially when you're trying to live a Christian lifestyle? No, my son left home when he was 33, and he was more than welcome. Now, my ex-narc, he was jealous of that because his mom had died, and his family members, they didn't want him in their home. They didn't want him around. So when he saw that my son, he had a loving home and my son was happy at home, oh God, he couldn't stand it. The majority of narcissists are wounded people who haven't healed. And then there are some who they have that frontal lobe, that prefrontal cortex. It's not normal. It's been damaged. And even with all of that, I don't feel sorry for them because they know right from wrong and they know how they treat people. They know that they should treat people the same way that they wish that they were treated. But instead of taking the high road, they choose to be low lives. I mean, low lives. I don't have to tell you, you already know. No emotionally healthy, self-respecting person would ever treat another human being the way these parasites, these miserable narcissistic parasites treat people. They are extremely weak and cowardly. They cannot deal with the pettiest of problems in their life. I mean, petty things that are not even huge. Something that freaking a 10-year-old could figure out. The smallest thing will cause a narcissistic injury and, as you and I know, narcissistic rage. They can never cope with their lives. Everything was always too much for them. It's just too much. Narcissists are always stressed out and full of so much self-hatred. It's unbelievable. They're hateful, they're angry, and they're envious of anyone who even have the potential to surpass them in any aspect where they were never satisfied or fulfilled in their own lives. When they were children, they told themselves, this is how they rationalize, well, everyone in this world is selfish. Everyone is mean. And since then, they decided that that's where they're going to be. That's the way they're going to think. That's the way they're going to live. Since then, it has become their lifestyle. It has become embedded in their brain, psychologically and biologically. Narcissists are not, they're stuck in this way, and guess what? They can't get out of it. They can't get out of that way of thinking. Everyone is selfish. Everyone is mean. And you and I know that's not true. That is so not true. But it's too much work for them to accept that they've been wrong. They made some wrong decisions. Their thinking is wrong, that they've done things wrong their whole lives. That's too overwhelming for their fragile little egos for them to admit this. But let me tell you what I've learned. I've learned that you can't change them. The only thing you could do with these narcissists is set boundaries. Because boundaries are needed with these people because they can be so manipulative, liars, and determined. They're determined in making your life a living hell. You can't feed into these monsters. Don't feed these monsters by engaging with them, especially if you are an empath, because their number one goal when they are dealing with an empath is to bring you down to your knees. They want to bring you down to your knees, and they want to do everything in their power to try to destroy you. Remember, these are monsters. They're not even human. So like always, you always have a choice. Please choose wisely. Until next time, 2 thumbs up. Adios.